You know, as someone who worked for one of the biggest publishers in video games, you would be forgiven for thinking that I love only AAA titles, but eagle-eyed viewers that have been on the channel for a while know that I love independent video games. What's going on, everybody? I'm Jay. Welcome to Square Pegs. Today we're celebrating indies. We're talking about some of the best independent games on the Nintendo Switch, ones that I love, things that I've talked about for years on my eShop Hidden Gem series, and with the Switch entering the end of its life cycle, I want to give you some of my favorites. We're going to kick things off with what I feel is one of the strongest video games ever made, Shovel Knight. Personally, I believe that Shovel Knight is responsible for the resurgence of incredible platformers that we have seen in modern gaming. This is by far one of my all-time favorite games. I love the character of Shovel Knight. I love the design of the game. I love how much ridiculous replayability is involved with it because, let's face it, it does everything well. Like, it is a phenomenal platformer. It has great gameplay. There's tons of add-ons and DLC and additives to the title that just make it even more fun. Like, every single character you're able to play as, you can go through the regular quest as Shovel Knight. You can play as Plague Knight or King Knight or Spectre Knight. There are different options to play through. There's amiibo unlocks. There is so much stuff that goes into this game that it's fantastic, and it is so much fun to play. And the design, the music, the look, the gameplay, the power-ups, the humor, the writing, everything lands. And every Shovel Knight game is great. Whether you're playing this one or any of the spin-offs from it are fantastic. I forgot to grab the footage for them here for the final video. I apologize for that, and I wanted to make sure this got out on time. But it is one of those games that I think is one of those rare examples of really hitting all of its milestones. It set out to complete a goal. It said it was going to do something in its Kickstarter campaign, and really, it hit everything it said it was going to do, and that should be commended. While I think you could talk about literally any release from the SteamWorld series because they're all fantastic, the one I want to focus on today is SteamWorld Heist. SteamWorld Heist is a turn-based strategy game that is a little bit different than any other turn-based strategy game I'd ever played because it isn't something where it's like a top-down grid or anything like that. You actually have different levels that you have to traverse and move your characters up and down through the different levels to be able to, fight the enemies that are there and to discover the treasure that's throughout the levels. It's a really clever game. Each level has different objectives that you have to complete. Each level has different characters you're able to bring into it. You can have any number of characters that are available. You have a bunch of different characters to choose from that you'll find and recruit as you play. And it just works. Like, this is my favorite SteamWorld game. As much as I love SteamWorld Dig and I love SteamWorld Quest, SteamWorld Heist is my personal favorite. And the sequel is great as well, which is also available on the Switch. Definitely worth checking out. Definitely a fun title, especially if you like strategy games or you're just looking for something that's a little bit different and it allows you to collect hats. This game's for you. It feels kind of criminal to talk about indie games and not talk about Shantae because this series is just spectacular. And the entire thing can be played on the Nintendo Switch. You start at the beginning, which was a Game Boy Color release. This one was published by Capcom, so I guess you could throw a red flag here and say that's not an independent game. But, I mean, we all know it is. It was developed by WayForward. Capcom just slapped their name on it so it could get published. You also have Risky's Revenge, Shantae and the Seven Sirens, Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, my personal favorite, and Shantae Half Genie Hero. All of these games are fantastic. Every single one of them is fun and light, and it does not take itself too seriously. Every game is a blast to play. Every game is brilliantly well designed and features not only wonderful gameplay, but incredible artwork, brilliant design. When you get to Half Genie Hero and Seven Sirens, there's a ton of downloadable content that is included. These games are just magnificent. I love these games, absolutely worth checking out. If you haven't played them, like I said, the entire series is currently available on the Switch, except for Shantae Advance, which hasn't hit yet, but it will be soon. I'm really surprised we don't exist in a world where there are more Castlevania clones out there, but I guess when you have the original series that is so fantastic, and the Bloodstained series, which is an incredible tribute to that original Castlevania series, there's no real need to make another game that kind of apes what those games are doing. Because Bloodstained, as a tribute act, is one of the best. Both Bloodstained Curse of the Moon and Curse of the Moon 2 are fantastic 8-bit style platformers that you are able to kind of hot swap which characters you're going to control. It plays a little bit like Castlevania 3 in that regard. The level designs are familiar and fun and look great. It's a wonderful 8-bit title that just really works. It's one of those just fantastic tribute acts. And Bloodstained Ritual of the Night kind of leans heavily into modern aesthetic. Like, it is decidedly a more 32-bit kind of Sega Saturn style or even PlayStation 2 style game that just works. And that one runs a little bit clunkier on the Switch than the other two Bloodstains. I mean, obviously, it's a sharper game. It's a more graphically intense game, more processing power intense title, but it still plays fantastically well. It still looks great, and the gameplay is sound. Love the Bloodstained series, and if you're a fan of Castlevania, these are games you need to play. You know, I can't talk glowingly enough about Carl. This is a game that I don't feel gets the flowers it deserves. I don't hear enough people talking about it. I don't hear enough people singing its praises. And that's a shame, because it is one of the single best run-and-gun platformers I've ever played. And it doesn't hurt the fact that it was developed by my friend Nintendo. It's just a really wonderful title. This is such a loving tribute to games like Mega Man. There's a little bit of Mega Man here. There's a little bit of Metal Slug. There's a little bit of Super Paper Mario in here. It's just a hodgepodge of inspiration and a beautiful tapestry of execution that I think is something that I really wish I heard more people talking about, because, man, this game is just so high quality. The music alone is worth the price of admission. It's that good. But the gameplay, the character of Carl, the writing behind the title, every single just variant of level design that goes into this is such a picture-perfect display of what an independent developer can do when they're not constrained by corporate sponsorships or corporate ideals of what a game should entail. This is Drew's love letter to classic gaming, and it lands. It's so good.
The following singles match is scheduled for one fall and has no time limit.
As a longtime fan of both professional wrestling and the arcade game WWF WrestleFest, Retromania Wrestling feels like it was designed specifically for me. This is a fantastic love letter to the classic WrestleFest arcade game, and it just executes everything perfectly well, because not only is this game just wonderful, like, you get a great roster of characters. Like, listen to the list of characters that are in this game. Tommy Dreamer, Mr. Hughes, Matt Cardona, Johnny Retro, Boom Boom, Colt Cabana, James Storm, Jeff Cobb. There are so many amazing characters in this game and wrestlers that you can use that this game is just a blast. And then you get to all the different gameplay elements that are in this title. There's so many different modes that you're able to play in. There's tag team modes. There's up to 8-player multiplayer games. 50 different match variations, story mode, and the 10 pounds of gold mode where you're actually chasing down the NWA World Championship. There are just incredible arenas that are, like, designed to be inspired by classic arenas, like the Ballroom, which feels a little bit like the Hammerstein Ballroom from New York City, but we won't name names here. There's even a YouTube arena that takes place in Retropalooza, and Too Many Games, where you can see some of your favorite retro YouTubers ringside. Check this one out. I absolutely love it. It is fantastic. The concept behind Bug Fables is something where, when I looked at it on its surface, I was like, that's dumb. There's no way this is going to be any fun. And what I got instead was an incredibly competent RPG with a fantastic design element that really pays beautiful tribute to what Paper Mario did and just works. Like, it is a fun game with some really solid writing, which is what you need in an RPG like this. It's got memorable characters that all play uniquely well. It's got a really solid gameplay mechanic with the timing-based gameplay like you are familiar with from Paper Mario. And the gameplay is just solid. The story is solid. The level designs are solid. Like, it's just a really well-made game. This is one that I sat on for a long time, and I didn't end up picking it up until it was on sale one day, and I was just blown away by the quality of Bug Fables. This is a fantastic title. If you're looking for a really fun RPG, I can't recommend Bug Fables highly enough. I mean, who doesn't want to play a roguelike hack and slash where you're also simultaneously developing your own cult? I mean, that's kind of the American dream, right? And that's what we get with Cult of the Lamb. A beautifully designed game, a beautifully executed game that is just such a ridiculous concept at the end of the day, but boy, howdy does this work. It is such a fun game and such a well-executed title that just delivers on the just ridiculous concept behind its design. You play as a lamb that is brought back from the dead. You are given the powers of a great old one, and you are told to form a cult. So as you go through the different levels, killing, maiming, and destroying everything in your path, you are going to find worshipers that want to join you, and you bring them back to your compound, and you create a cult of the lamb. It's right there in the title. Like, it's really not that hard to figure out. I would say, based on the concept alone, this game is worth playing, but where it truly just kind of just sets itself apart is how great the gameplay is and how balanced everything is. It's just fun, and really that's all you need. But on top of being fun, you also get a great storyline, a really funny storyline too, and just something that sticks every single landing that it has to make. God, do I love Flinthook. Legitimately one of my all-time favorite video games. This was developed by Tribute, and it is such a wonderful title. So the concept behind it is you are a space traveler, kind of bounty hunter, scavenger that is going into these derelict ships, breaking in, fighting your way through them, getting to the boss at the end, and getting as much treasure as you possibly can on your way out. And what happens with the game is it's a roguelike, so every level is going to be a little bit different. Every fight is going to be a little bit different. You're able to choose and pick which way you want to go. And it has not only this brilliant kind of platforming shoot-'em-up aspect to it, but it also has some really great physics aspects where you're using your grappling hook to kind of bounce yourself around, as well as some really creative uses of time, where you're able to slow time down to kind of fire off more shots, to be able to get through certain barricades to kind of phase through them and things like that. And the longer you play, the more upgrades you get and the more powerful your character gets. It is legitimately one of my favorite video games of all time. It is something that I never hear anyone talk about, which is an absolute shame because this game is so much fun. One of the best I have ever played on the Nintendo Switch, and it just runs so silky smooth on that console. If you haven't played it, Flinthook must be on your list. When everyone else was busy playing Minecraft, my construction and mining game was Terraria. I love this game. I love everything about this game. I think there is so much to enjoy and just like about this title because it offers so much variety in gameplay. Because you can play this just as a straight-up builder where you have to kind of defend yourself from zombies every once in a while. You can play it as a deep exploration game where you're digging further down to explore the underworld and things like that. You can go all the way to hell if you really want to. There's boss fights. There's huge biomes that you're able to discover. You can play really any way you want to go. Like, my favorite experience playing Terraria that I've ever had was one where I created a world. I ended up getting lucky enough to have a random seed drawn where I was able to get a beachfront property. And I just built a house. There's also great experiences where you're playing multiplayer and going on epic quests with your friends to try to defeat fantastical enemies that are appearing. It's a brilliant title that offers just a wide variety of gameplay options, and nothing in this game misses. Like, I do think it plays better on a computer, I won't lie to you, but I don't think there's anything to be said about the Switch one that would make it a bad title. It's really fun, it's really well designed, and it is just a spectacular title, top to bottom.
There you have it, my friends. Some of my favorite independent games ever released on the Nintendo Switch. Games that I think are the signature experience of the Switch. While the Nintendo first-party games are fantastic, I think the indies are what gives the console its soul. Let me know in the comments down below your favorite indie games. I'm sure there's ones that you played that I did not mention. I would love to hear from you down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out the one on screen right now where I give you a bunch of physical games that I think everyone should add to their collection before the Switch wraps up its production run. And until next time, remember to play more games, stay square, and take care. I'll talk to you soon.